1x09 is titled Wild It Up. We start the episode with a jump rope themed dance number, which actually most of it might just be what you do for like competitive jump. Not sure, never done it, but I could imagine. Either way, I think it looks super cool. I kind of just wonder why they had to include Cece and Rocky into it though, because the two only just do like regular jumping on the side. And even doing that, we're barely even really shown what they're doing because we're meant to be watching the skills of the performers on the stage. I know I've already gone over this a bit in the character breakdown section earlier in the video. Another good example of how, in comparison, Cece and Rocky are actually not that skilled of dancers. Silent extras 114 through 119. Everybody was jump rope dancing. I don't know why either. And yet again, this is actually another dance crew that came from being on America's Best Dance Crew, but was not mentioned by name within the show. This is the group Saltaire that were on season 5 when they landed in 5th place. We cut to John Hughes High as Cece is finishing up a 1,000-word essay for her, I'm going to guess, world history class.
Cece, why do you always wait till the last minute to finish your homework? And that's why Europe is the best continent of all. There, I did it. 1,000 words.
When similarly, through the last episode, they are approached by some of the older cool kids. I guess. They want Rocky and Cece to hang out with them, but this time they're wearing all black, even though the last group almost wore all black, whatever. This group are the bad kids, because they want Cece and Rocky to skip out on class with them. Because of this, we get a very titular example of Rocky's trait of being the goody-goody of the two and how she's very rule-abiding.
Cutting class, that's against the rules. And if you get caught, it'll go on your permanent record. And then you won't get into a good college. And then you'll be stuck working at a drive-thru window, spending the rest of your day shouting, "No! I didn't forget! The straw's in the bag!"
And those were silent extras 120 through 122, the bad boys' friends. Cece calls the guy cute when Deuce shows up and takes Cece's laptop.
I think he's kind of cute in a bad boy sort of way.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
Apparently, another element carried over from the last episode is how the school now pays attention and are praising Cece and Rocky for their position dancing on TV. But it also kind of sounds like Cece might have just paid them off again.
Cece Jones, with her fiery locks and a temperament to match, is a daring wild child who's uncontrollable, funky, and fun.
Wow. If the punctuation wasn't so good, I swear I wrote this myself.
But I guess maybe what I should have said was the other students praise Cece. When Rocky reads the blog, she sees that the only statements that can be said about her, again, are about how Rocky is too much of a goody two-shoes.
It holds the school's only perfect attendance record. She even showed up in a snow day last year just to be sure no one was learning without her. Wow, that makes me sound boring.
For the first time in the next scene, we see as Rocky and Cece are in their shared class. And I guess I was correct that it was world history. Cece almost completely stuns the teacher when she gets an answer correct for once.
How did you know that?
Please, Milan is the fashion center of the world. It's where they make the designer handbag that this cheap one was knocked off from. It's a Gucci.
Enters in Kat Deely as their new school principal. It's actually a cool reference for her to show up in a show like this, though I wish it'd been more through her actually being connected to the dancing portion of it. Instead, they just make this joke.
And who might you be?
I'm Cece Jones.
Ah, yes. I've been reading your file. I should be done sometime in the spring.
Yes, it's me, the uncontrollable, funky, and fun feature dancer on Shake It Up Chicago. Oh, yeah.
Ah, so you think you can dance?
If you didn't know, I didn't write off either, but just the way she said it, I knew had to be the case. She's the host of the Americans version of the British series. Kat Deely would also show up in the music video, Fashion is My Kryptonite. Also known as the background music, I've currently got laid throughout this video. Deely would play, I guess, a designer as Bella and Zendaya struggle to find outfits to wear to a big event. But for this episode, she would almost tease Cece for how large her file is. Knowing Cece, I'm not going to take that as so much of a good thing, while she points out Rocky as being the only student to have achieved perfect attendance. Rocky doesn't like how lame she must come across to everyone else and starts mocking their new principal's British accent.
Right, governor.
Bony for me.
Everyone finds this funny except for Cece. Rocky receives a detention. Silent extras 123. Lou means bathroom. And silent extra 124. High fives, Cece. In the B plot, Deuce is babysitting Flynn when he finds a mouse in the cabinet.
That's weird. I don't remember getting chocolate sprinkles on my cupcake.
Those aren't sprinkles. It's mouse poop.
Back to the A plot. We find Cece already having gotten detention for what could be numbers of various reasons, as the teacher has to wake her up from sleeping on her desk.
Miss Jones, detention is not an opportunity for you to catch up on your sleep.
No, I'm not catching up. I'm getting ahead so I can stay up late tonight.
And we get a little bit more of a conversation from this guy from earlier.
If I don't catch the nerds right when they get off the bus, I gotta chase them all day for their lunch money.
Sorry, let me correct myself. We get a little bit more of a conversation from the complication.
Why do they call you that?
It's complicated.
No, I'm sorry. I can take the name Dump Truck from Liv and Maddie more seriously. But maybe that's because, you know, they gave that character some character.
So says Dump Truck.
And a story. Well, kind of.
Hey, are we supposed to have a newbie here this morning? Where's your friend Rocky?
Rocky shows up to detention late and with a new look. Also, they reference her being a vegetarian again.
Huh. For a vegetarian, that sure is a lot of leather.
Continuity! Rocky actually starts scaring Cece with her new tough girl attitude. Silent Extra 125. That's my desk, girl. After detention, we see as the two are needing to go to the library to do homework. But Rocky just goes to blow Cece off to instead go hang out more with the complication. I can only imagine what he wants to do, so, no, Rocky, no, you're 13. Let's not do that.
You know how you deal with a ton of homework? You don't do it. Who are you?
Rocky calls herself Dwayne Johnson.
The Rock.
Yes, the man! What the Rock?
Yeah, that name's already taken.
It's later that night, and Cece sits in the kitchen with avocado over her face as she pretends to be the witch from Wizard of Oz.
I'll get you, my pretty. And your little dog, too.
And Rocky comes in through the window and asks where Georgia is. Cece tells her that Georgia, of course, is working again, as she wouldn't appear in this episode. And thus, Rocky opens the doorway and taps on the window she came in. She brought over all of the kids from detention, plus some. The complication, like Cece's face,
It's totally metal! Very metal, he did. That's all I'm saying.
Rocky eats the dip off of it with a chip, and the teens start having a typical Disney Channel party. Cece easily starts freaking out, taking on the role in the friendship that Rocky would whenever Cece would take things too far.
Whoa, it's the complication. How do you know he's the complication? It's complicated.
Trying to balance out the situation and becoming overbearing.
You have to do something. This is out of control. Chill out, Grandma. Why are you acting like this? Because that is how we work. One of us acts like this, and then the other one acts like that. And if you're acting like that, then I'm forced to act like this. Get your feet off the furniture. Were you raised in a barn?
Silent Extra 126. Boots in a barn girl. Silent Extra 127. Cece makes an even bigger mess, fails to use coaster guide. And Silent Extra 128.
And you! Get a haircut! You look like a hoodlum!
Cece finally managed to kick them all out, and now she's the buzzkill. It's the next day, and Rocky comes up to Cece at their locker and tells her about the wicked prank they pulled after Cece kicked everyone out. Rocky and Frankie, the complication, snuck into the school at night and bubble-wrapped every inch of the vice principal's office. Cece tries to get through to her friend about how she's taking everything way too far, but Rocky doesn't see anything wrong.
It was totally metal!
Juice even tells her that Frankie already got suspended for what they pulled.
Finally, an actual complication!
But Rocky still doesn't seem to understand, liking the idea of some extra days off school. That is until Cece reminds her of what that would mean if Rocky couldn't come to school. Sacrificing her perfect attendance record, everything that she'd done to maintain it would immediately become a wasted effort.
All those years of only eating healthy foods just to boost my immune system, setting 3 alarm clocks every night, missing Nana's funeral.
This brings Rocky back, and immediately we see that the only thing Cece cares about is using her friend to get a good grade.
So does that mean you're back? Yeah. Oh, thank goodness. Can you do my Spanish homework?
Rocky enters into Cat Deely's office, where yes, we see that it is still fully bubble wrapped. It's almost like that episode of Wizards when Stevie tried to frame Justin by filling Mr. Larry Tate's office with posters of Justin's face. I get that it's for the visual goofs for the show, but in universe, why is she sitting in it as opposed to just trying to clean it all up? I mean, I guess they're just about making a point, but that doesn't seem to be the case with just how much she obviously hates.
Wow, I love what you've done with the office.
Cat Deely tells Rocky how she can get her into legal trouble for breaking and entering and vandalism. Cece comes in acting as an attorney to try and represent and help her bestie. And then Cece just proceeds to pretend to be a lawyer, but also interrogating herself on the bubble wrap chair stand. Again, Wizards would also do this, and kinda better, because in that case, Justin could duplicate himself just for his duplicate to find him guilty. Rocky is back to being a good friend.
You've been nothing but trouble since the day you were born! Stop it! Stop it! You leave her alone!
Or at least trying to be one. Cece takes the blame and Dealey accepts this, but warns her that she'll be given suspension for this. Rocky can't let Cece get in trouble undeserved, and so she stands up, admitting the truth and accepting her goody-goody status with pride.
It wasn't her, it was me. That stupid blog said I was a goody two-shoes, and I went kind of overboard trying to prove that I wasn't. But I am, and I'm okay with that. And I'm also okay with any punishment that you decide to give me. Objection!
Kat Dealey is understanding, and instead of a suspension, she gives Rocky detention for a month.
And your perfect attendance record will remain intact.
And as both Rocky and Cece clean up this mess as she takes an early lunch with her new gift card.
My card? This is a gift certificate to the Olive Pit, and the two of you will clean up this office while I take an early lunch at the Olive Pit.
And we close out the episode with a line so stupid that it actually did kind of make me giggle.
Hold everything. It wasn't her. It was me. I did it. I take full blame. Hey, what happened in here?
And that was episode 9. Again, we had some absences as neither Ty, Gunther, or Tinka were in this episode. I kind of do wonder how this new side to Rocky would have interacted with her brother. But thankfully for me, unlike Wizards or Good Luck Charlie, if anyone is absent here, you don't feel it too much. And in the case of this episode, it wasn't horrible. We got to see a new side to Rocky that while I didn't love it, it did show us a new element of the Rocky and Cece dynamic, making Cece play the grounded role for a change. And it taught both Rocky a lesson about herself, as well as the children watching that maybe were in similar situations. And the ending was kind of fun. Not the best, not the worst, just kind of run-of-the-mill. But I do think it brought us mostly back up to speed after the pause I felt from episode 8. Next up is episode 10, titled Match It Up.
I think he'd be perfect for you. He's 4 foot tall and covered in a fine layer of hair. He's cute. He's a lemur.
Today, Cece's trying to play matchmaker as the girls get ready for their performance. And again, Deuce, for whatever reason, just easily walks in on the set like it's nothing, doing his one rip-off Rodney joke of the episode.
So you guys, you need tickets to the White Sox or actual White Sox?
Apparently, Cece got Deuce a girlfriend some time ago off screen, and apparently she's the newest of the dancers on the show that are supposed to have been there for quite a while, but we've never seen them before, and never would again after either. Well, doesn't matter, she's not his girlfriend anymore, and seems Deuce lucked out because the girl's definitely a gold digger.
Ah, the dopey looks, the romantic talk, the lovey-dovey words. I'm breaking up with you. And that's a cut.
What'd I do?
Oh, it's not you. It's me. Well, actually, it's me and this guy Gary Schwartz I met at the mall. He was my second choice for you.
Yeah. What does he have that I don't have?
$7,000 in bar mitzvah money.
But also, with all his sketchy sales and cousins, maybe they were perfect for each other. He still would always figure out some way to provide whatever the heck she wanted. Dang, I should have dated Deuce.
I knew I should have married Chandler.
Whatever, whether they would be actually good products or not are debatable, most likely not. And of course, just after this, the girls would have to go on to do a dance with her, which would almost just be a little bit of a girly shoving match. At school, Cece would try to go to want to set Ty up with somebody to prove her matchmaking skills, but Ty would reject the idea as he's apparently already got all the girls at school by himself and is so self-centered and his pride is just disgusting.
I don't need your help. I attract more women than a Labrador puppy. I have more chicks than a poultry ranch. I got so many girls around me, my nickname is Shoe Sale.
Cece, Ty's already found his true love in the mirror.
Seriously, where's Tinka when you need her? Cece screams in Deuce's ear as he's too busy with his headphones to hear her. We find out that he's trying to win $10,000 to win Savannah back.
When they play Can't Buy Me Love and near the 15th caller, you get a chance to win $10,000 in the Windy City Cash Tornado.
$10,000? Smack my face with a Kansas City pickle.
Yeah. You climb inside this giant plastic ball and cash gets blown all around, and you got 60 seconds to grab as much as you can.
But like, the way this sounds, even if he got the chance to try for the money, he wouldn't get the whole $10,000. He wouldn't get nowhere close. Rocky thinks Deuce needs to give in to his feelings, as that'd be the best way for him to be able to get them all out and heal from it. Ty says the Deuce is just doing what men do.
He's still upset over Savannah, and now he's obsessing over something stupid instead of dealing with his feelings.
Yeah, I believe the psychological term for that is being a guy.
Deuce comes running back to tell his friends how he'd won. In the B-plot, Henry Dillon is back, and today they're doing another spoof of the Boy Scouts. They already did this with Zach and Cody, and that plot was amazing in comparison because there they at least got Mr. Mosby as a scout leader. Cece starts a matchmaking booth in the hallways.
What is going on? My reputation as a matchmaker is on the line, so I'm interviewing different girls for Deuce. It's my new matchmaking service. Cece, single no more! Cece, you're single. By choice. Mama only eats after all her children get fed.
That's gotta be one of my new favorite Cece Jones lines. Maybe towards the end I'll do like a quick compilation if I remember. A bunch of girls come in with applications, and each one Cece reads and puts on the top of the list as options to be set up with Deuce. Silent extras 129, Deuce likes tall girls. Silent extra 130, Deuce likes short girls. Silent extra 131.
My friend Deuce, he loves girls who hate Deuce. You're at the top of the list.
Rocky gets upset and tells Cece that if she's going to do this at all, at least to try to help him find somebody he'd work well with.
Compatible? That could take all day. I'm going for desperate.
Rocky picking up the first paper she sees, and it just happens to seem like a pretty perfect fit.
What's up, chicas? Looking for tickets to the Bears? Or actual Bears?
It'll never work.
Enter in new recurring role of Dina Garcia. She's literally just Deuce as a woman with a bit more of a competitive feist. So, female ripoff Rodney. Cece and Rocky make a plan to introduce the two after school.
Deuce will spot you, realize you're perfect for him. You'll go to the prom together, get married, and stand by him no matter what dead-end job he has.
Are you kidding me? He's a con man. He'll always work.
But Deuce is too focused on the contest, and he's utterly terrible.
Oh, why Deuce? Do you know Dina?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Oh, what I do is I look a woman up and down and I say, hey, how you doing?
Oh, please.
Hey, how you doing?
Nice headphones.
Yeah, I got him from a guy named Benny. You know Benny?
Are you kidding me? My uncle represented him.
My uncle prosecuted him.
Small world.
They seem to be hitting things off really well pretty quickly. Turns out they get their headphones from the same place, probably their jackets too. Seems like everything could turn out to be perfect until... womp womp. Look who's back. Didn't see that one coming. Awkward.
This is awkward.
Rocky questions what possibly that Savannah could want going back to Deuce. Cece tries to defend Savannah as she wants Rocky to see that her matchmaking works. Cece saying how teens break up and get back together so sporadically all the time. But Rocky immediately thinks that Savannah's just being a gold digger.
Do you think she picks her nose? No. Cece, a gold digger is a person who only likes someone for their money. But this doesn't have any money. No, but he does have a turn in the cash tornado.
What do you think?
That nose picker! Gold digger. I bet she's both.
Yep, this is definitely Disney Channel. Later that night, Deuce and Ty join the girls at the Jones apartment as they see Deuce practicing for the money tornado. Again, he's literally the worst. And I'm beginning to really hate Ty.
Feelings? I'm trying to turn you into a ruthless money grabber and you're talking to me about feelings? I cannot coach a crybaby.
Cece and Rocky try to encourage Deuce to break up with Savannah.
I can help you through it with my new service. Cece's Couples No More!
And now Deuce thinks that Cece has feelings for him.
Wouldn't have to spell it out for you.
I can't believe it. Cece, you totally dig me.
I what? She what? I what?
Deuce tries letting her down softly. He leaves, and it turns out that Dina was also there waiting for a good moment to be able to come out.
Wow. If you wanted him for yourself, you should have just said so.
This is
awkward. It's, I'm guessing, the next day, and the girls are at the mall. Rocky, for once, actually comes up with a plan for the episode, as Cece is too preoccupied, wondering why Deuce wouldn't be attracted to her.
What is it that is turning Deuce off? I bet it's my red hair. Do you think it makes me look too smart?
Yep, at this point, Cece might still have some of the charm left, but all of her brains are gone. Until again, they wouldn't be. But you're still gonna have to wait for that. Rocky tries to come up with a really nice way to not tell her best friend that she's as dumb as a box of rocks.
I don't think anyone thinks that.
And you know, it kind of sucks because Henry's still around as a recurring role, but I'm guessing he isn't tutoring Cece anymore. And like, she was actually having fun and getting smarter having him around. It's just a shame. We see Deuce and Savannah as it's announced that Deuce would be the next to go in the tornado. And like the woman before him, only just won like over $300, so... Silent extra 132, Cassidy Craig. Deuce must be so desperate. Like, Savannah isn't even trying to hide that she only wants his money.
Have all the money you can. Then we'll grab that new purse I like afterwards.
Silent extra 133, Savannah Smith. Rocky and Cece see this and put their plan into action. Ty is dressed up as a geek, you know, back before everyone became a nerd due to the internet, so like, bleepy. Savannah is disgusted by him, and Cece and Rocky pretend to know that he's a young billionaire, and suddenly Savannah is all over him. Cece asks her about Deuce, and she blatantly just admits to only getting back together with him for the money.
But what about Deuce?
Let me know if he grabs $1 billion out of that ball.
But now that she found someone with even more than he could win if he got all of the rest of the money in the ball, Savannah is done with him. Savannah is as close to horny as Disney Channel would allow. She even turns Cece onto her.
No wonder why Deuce likes her better than me. I like her better than me.
Deuce sees all of this going down and breaks the ball to come after Ty. Savannah walks off in a huff after finding out the truth, and Deuce tries to go after her, but his friends stop him. She isn't worth it.
She isn't worth it. I mean, she only got back together with you for the money. Yeah, she's a Goldfinger.
Deuce begs the girls from now on to stay out of his love life, but they tell him that they can't agree to that. The two roll the ball over to Dina, and I gotta admit that these two are actually kind of cute together.
Hey, Dina! Catch!
How you doing?
How you doing?
You reminds me of a hamster I once had.
What happened to him?
He rolled out onto the yard, met a mouse, and they are currently raising a beautiful family.
And it gives me hope for more Deuce storylines in the future. Savannah still tries to come back.
Do you by any chance have a brother?
And that was episode 10. Another absence of Gunther and Tinka. Maybe they went back to visit their own country of wherever it is. I did like this episode. I actually like the inclusion of Dina a lot better here than I remembered. I honestly didn't remember before rewatching this episode how and when she'd enter into the series, just that she was Deuce's main love interest. But I'm actually going to try going in now to Deuce plots with a bit more of a positive mindset after this episode, because while he himself didn't do a whole lot this episode, it made me want to see them do more with his character than just being one gag. Also, another episode that didn't have too much to do with dancing, so hopefully that does come back into focus with the next one. We have one more episode to go before we take a brief intermission to discuss some more external factors about the show. Is that the right terminology? I don't know. Whatever, don't care. So, on to episode 11, titled Show It Up. The episode begins with a school assembly, students being given out ribbons for their achievements, and we see as Rocky just keeps getting handed out second places compared to her new nemesis for the episode that is somebody else that we never see ever again, Candy Cho. Are you seeing a pattern here? I will say one thing the show has been improving on is that their cold openings actually relate to the rest of the episodes. See, like a couple of my favorite sitcoms outside of Disney Channel are Friends and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And there, they do have cold opens that will have nothing to do with the rest of the episodes sometimes. But usually those will be like so very iconic and hilarious regardless. Here, if the punchline of a cold open is unrelated, it normally just really feels like a last-minute additive. Like, I think the last few have been a bit better at just progressing the story rather than trying too hard to just be funny. Rocky shows us like 12 of the same ribbon she has hanging up in her locker.
You know why these ribbons are red? Because red means stop. You're never gonna be as good as Candy Stinking Cho!
And oh look, Gunther and Tinka are back this episode. Through them, we get to see Candy Cho and a fellow cheerleader, and that she isn't as sweet as she likes to appear.
Ooh, we are poor because we have our names on our shirt! She's mocking our accent. So original.
It doesn't bother us. Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery!
Stop it! You two are driving me crazy!
Rocky is immediately upset for how Candy treats Gunther and Tinka, but like her and Cece almost do the exact same thing, just that they don't try to impersonate the accents. But at the same time, isn't that like the forced thing at this point? So in that way, I could see why she'd be mad. Cece tries to stir the topic of conversation back to focusing on herself.
Okay, it just takes away from our time, where we talk about my problems.
Candy and her partner, Randy, come up to taunt Cece and Rocky about how they're going to be in the talent show and win again this year. They say they'd won the last 3 years, which means these two would have to be seniors. Rocky and Cece are freshmen, so what the heck are they even doing? Rocky and Cece wouldn't have even had a chance to have performed against them before, but they're going to this year, and Cece, for whatever reason, wants to talk Rocky out of the idea.
No. You are not competing against her. Yes, I am. Come on, I have to beat her just once. No, you don't, Rocky. You're a dancer on Shake It Up Chicago. You already won. You already got first place. Let's go out and buy you a ribbon. Yay, Rocky!
but like, they'd be dancing for the whole school. This feels very out of her character for her not wanting to do this.
Well, at least I'll finally have a shot at getting second place at something.
And then in the next scene, we'll see as Ty, I guess, is supposed to be babysitting Flynn as they play Jenga when Deuce arrives, and in talking about how he's going to be the MC of the talent show, Ty starts talking about how lame the whole thing is.
Dude, talent shows are totally lame. The only thing worse than the talent is the MC. I wonder what brainless fool got stuck with that idiotic job this year. That would be me. Hey, good for you!
Now again, Ty dances. Am I missing something? I absolutely loved the talent shows at my school, maybe because I performed in them, but I also loved seeing what everyone else did. And usually there were at least a couple decently popular people that took part in them. At my school, there was stand-up performances, magic acts, dancers, singers, a couple other random things that I wouldn't even really know how to describe. So like, is this just a thing that most people just say talent shows are really lame? Because in my experience, they don't. Now, I'm skipping over what Gunther and Tinka do because I'm sure it's offensive somehow.
I'm getting a goat for Christmas. He has boobs and a pretty white face. He'll sleep in my bed while I kiss his head. I'm getting a goat for Christmas. Meh, meh, meh.
As Candy, Randy, and their other cheerleader friends arrive to practice for the talent show.
Oh, that was priceless. Meaning nobody would pay to see it. If you're done humiliating yourselves and anyone within earshot, our group is waiting to practice.
Silent extras 134 through 137, unnamed cheerleaders. They do a single jump and then immediately run off the stage. So what was even the point of that? Rocky freaks out that the cheerleaders are a bigger group than they are.
There's 6 of them. 6 always beats 2. That's basic math, which I took second place to Candy.
And Cece accidentally inspires Rocky to want to team up with their everyday nemesis.
We need more dancers. I guess we could always join up with Gunther and Tinka.
And this is actually a plotline that I like. Think has a lot of potential and wish they'd done more often. Well, until they kind of had to. Again, we'll get to that in the next video. But Cece and Rocky actually have a lot more in common with the two than they think if they were to actually just stop bickering all the time and try to appreciate each other for their skills.
I'm Gunther.
And I am Tinka. And I am Rocky. And I am Cece.
And we're gonna win, baby!
But alas, this potential once again would go on to be wasted as the second after they all decide to team up, Gunther and Tinka will backstab Rocky and Cece as to instead join forces with their even worse enemy's team just for the possibility that they'd probably win.
We have terrible news for you, but great news for us!
We will be on the winning team!
Rocky wants to give up and tries to accept that she'd never come first place at anything.
She's better than me at everything. That's not true, Rocky.
Cece corrects her that at the very least, she's the best at picking a best friend.
You're better at picking best friends. Wow, so you're actually trying to make me feel better by complimenting yourself.
But no, in actuality, Cece comes up with a really good alternative plan that I'm surprised Rocky herself didn't think of.
Oh yes, we are going to beat them. How? With a secret weapon. Ty's our secret weapon.
Rocky thinks the whole idea of getting her brother to dance with them is impossible, as Ty thinks it's too lame.
Dude, talent shows are totally lame.
But again, why? You're dancing in front of the whole school, your own routine. Ty, you will take literally just about any opportunity to dance for random cute girls. Why would you not want to partake in this? Cece literally begs on her knees for him to join them. Ty denies her, saying there's nothing they could do or say to possibly gain his interest. Rocky apparently has some blackmail in the form of an embarrassing photo of Ty cross-dressing for Halloween.
You're bluffing.
Am I? Well then, I guess this isn't a picture of a 7-year-old boy trick-or-treating as Princess Leia.
I mean, at least we don't have to see it.
Well then take off the dress because I can't hit a woman.
She led the rebellion! She was cool!
I wonder how cool the kids at school will think it is when it's taped to everybody's locker.
So what are you thinking, hip-hop, old-school salsa? I'm in.
May the force be with us.
Ty politely tells her that she has bad breath.
You need a mint.
That's the most polite thing he's done this whole show. In the B plot, Flynn is helping Deuce to come up with a cool opener to do at the talent show. He's wrapped up in a bunch of chains and a padlock, and see, like, Deuce is kind of stupid. Apparently, Flynn had him put the key in his mouth, and without any context, he just, for whatever reason, thought he was meant to swallow it.
I was supposed to hold it in my mouth? Oops.
Yeah. Flynn has a running gag throughout this episode where he steals various items of Deuce's clothing through a magic trick that he's really good at. No. In the next scene, however, they must have got some bolt cutters or something because it's the night of the talent show and Deuce stands on the stage perfectly fine and unscathed as he introduces the show, and we see that Flynn helped him work on another idea for an act in which the two share a suit and Flynn is attached to Deuce's back, almost like a ventriloquist act, but also not at all, so...
Hi, everybody! Little heads up.
They pull some pretty obvious little jokes for this kind of a concept.
I'm not speaking to you.
Why? What did I do?
I heard you've been talking behind my back.
All right, I'm busted.
What have you been saying?
That you've been getting a big head.
Now get off my back.
As they introduce each of the different talent acts.
Ow! What?
We gotta bring out the first act.
Who is it?
It's whatever. Cutting to Gunther and Tinka as they are dressed to the nine in their decked out version of the cheer uniform, and they show Candy and Randy a new cheer they've been working on.
Hello, Randy and Candy. Check us out. We have come up with our own cheer. Who's that hiding behind my back?
These bulldogs. These bulldogs. Who's that scratching behind your ear?
These bulldogs. These bulldogs.
Yes, we do. We have sparkles. How about you?
Can you possibly guess what happens next? I swear you won't have at all seen it coming from like a far, far miles away.
Yeah, a little change of plans. You're out.
You didn't really think we were gonna let you perform with us, did you?
Up until a second ago, yes. Now I'm not so sure.
Oh no, Candy and Randy cut Gunther and Tinka out before the performance. They totally only let them join their squad because they didn't want them to team up with Rocky and Cece and actually have a chance at beating them. Boo-hoo, I never would have guessed it. I actually kind of feel bad for them, except that they almost don't take it that harshly themselves.
I know they are calling us losers, but they do it in such an entertaining fashion that it's infectious.
So it's Randy and Candy's turn to perform. And like, yeah, it's just I'd say pretty average looking cheer routine. I mean, it's not that this is bad or anything, but just considering we only ever see these characters in just their cheer uniforms, this is just about what I'd expect. And after all this build up, I was just really hoping they were going to push them to be something a bit more exciting and surprising. Like, what if it started out as a cheer routine and they had maybe like a costume change that turned into a more experimental type of dancing? That would actually make more sense being such competition for Rocky and Cece. I get why they did it, but if this is the winning talent act every year, I mean, I get why the kids find the show so lame. You'd have to be able to get the same exact routine at literally any football game. But also maybe there's more fun acts that we're just not seeing, and these guys are so heavily focused on by the teachers, especially because they're performing in favor of the school sports team. That's at least realistic, or you know, lemonade mouth. And then it's Rocky, Cece, and Ty's turn. And yeah, I do kind of think the performance was only really just a head better than the cheer squad. I could see why people would find this fun for, you know, just a small talent show at school. Honestly, I see this setting more fitting of what they do than a lot of scenes of them dancing on TV, just because while this dance is a pretty good showcase that again, Rocky and Cece are just very limited in the type of moves they're able to do. I'm at the point where I'm noticing very similar arm and leg movements throughout all of their numbers. Now, other dancers might pull off something more interesting, like how here Ty does his few moves on the floor, and on the show they might pull different themes and aesthetics to make the numbers more fun, but Cece and Rocky's skills themselves are unfortunately already just getting a bit too predictable. And thus, I could definitely see why, in votes for a winner, the two acts we actually see would be pretty close. Also, did only like 2 other people even perform? Silent Extra 138. Then makes a joke about Deuce being a bad kisser.
And third place goes to Kathy Medina and her auto harp tribute to Katy Perry.
Hey, Deuce, I heard you kissed a girl, and she didn't like it.
After the last episode, I almost want to go to agree with Flynn's statement, but I don't think for Savannah that had anything to do with Deuce's lips, but more like his pocketbook. Also, what about Dina?
Rocky and Cece here.
Why? Do you love them?
How much candy did you give him?
Oh wait, I'm sorry, where even is Dina? Deuce is about to read out the name of the winning act when Candy lets her jealousy get the better of her, and so she interrupts, making a half-witted speech.
Wait, I have something to say. Is the show really about winning? Tonight it is, you're going down! Or is it about showcasing our God-given talent? This is about a community coming together. A celebration about being a bulldog. Weren't we all born winners? I would like to suggest that we throw out these petty titles. We're all winners tonight.
About not being selfish and how everyone is a winner in their hearts. The principal is a simp, and so everyone starts cheering for Candy, including Cece. Like, what the fuck, Cece? Deuce rips up the letter, really pissing off Rocky. These guys are horrible friends. Rocky reads the name of the winner, and we find out that Candy would have won again anyway, and Rocky lets her mental breakdown finally bubble to the surface to take over her sanity.
Right! I agree! Everyone's a winner! Go!
Maybe she saw the new Inside Out movie. Did anybody else? I haven't, but I've already been spoiled for it on TikTok. Can you tell how long ago I wrote this script? Gunther and Tinka are offensive again.
Wait! There is still one more act that will surely blow your lederhosen off. 2, 3, 4. Go to bed, my little sleepyhead. You might not have sweet dreams. Your uncle is a werewolf. I hope you don't hear him scream. He lives down the street, he has booty feet. He's really quite sweet when he doesn't want to eat. Your uncle is a werewolf.
We're not even gonna talk about it. And that was episode 11 of Shake It Up. I feel like this episode was just alright. It had a fun concept, but that's it. The show barely did anything with the idea of the girls and Ty dancing together. It's just decided, then it happens, and that's it. And again, I would have loved to see what it would have been like for the girls and Gunther and Tinka to try and work together. As for the lesson, it almost seems like any attempt made at trying to really say anything meaningful was kind of just dropped. There wasn't any real resolution, nothing else happening in the background. Did I care about really any of it at all? It was either just boring or this.
They're singing along!
I love you, Chicago!
So okay, we have officially hit the halfway point of season 1. Technically on Shake It Up's page on Disney Plus, there are 10 more episodes to go through, but there is one special event episode that I'm excited to revisit, and we'll get there pretty shortly. But first, it's intermission. So go get your drinks, snacks, go to the bathroom if you have to, and we'll be right back with your scheduled feature presentation. Actually, I mean, this is just a YouTube video. You can pause it at literally any time, but for the aesthetics. Locations! By now, you should know that the setting of the show is Chicago, Illinois, and that really the show has 4 main locations. They do a decently good job at sprinkling in new one-off locations that make an appearance in just 1 or 2 episodes throughout the series, such as the Senior Center, the Olive Pit, the subway station. But as for main sets for the show, we have the Jones Apartment 3B. All that is said about the Jones apartment is that it is Apartment 3B and that Rocky lives upstairs in Apartment 4B.
You live one flight up. How are you always late?
And so, to find the real address, I had to do a Google image search. Because in shows such as Good Luck Charlie is a good example, sometimes the real house is not even in the same state as the show would take place in. As Good Luck Charlie takes place in Denver, Colorado, but the real house is located in Pasadena, California. So, trying to actually look at apartment complexes in Chicago, even if that was possible, being so many, seemed impossible. So, due to a Google image search, I found that the real address of the Jones apartment building is 818 West 18th Street, and it actually does reside in Chicago, Illinois. I actually almost could go stand there after like a 5-hour drive if I'd really wanted to. Fun fact, it is also said that Gunther and Tinka live at apartment 8B of the same apartment complex, but the actual building only has 4 floors. Anyway, inside the Jones apartment, we mainly just stay in this space, which is just one large connected soundstage that acts as the kitchen and the living room.
So, on with the tour. Right now, we're in Cece and Flynn's house. And speaking of Flynn, here's Davis who plays Flynn.
Hey, what's up,
dude? So this is your crib, right?
Yeah, this is our house.
This is cool. So what is your character like?
Flynn's very mischievous, I think. Flynn! Cough it up. Fine. Ty is kind of Flynn's brother that he never had. That calls stretch. I call dibs.
From the way it is set up with the doorways, which makes the most sense to me, how I think we'd actually never see either of these hallways leading to or either Georgia or Flynn's rooms, I think this door here would be one bathroom for Georgia and her bedroom, would be either connected to it or just next door. And then down here is where I know Cece's room is supposed to be located, just down this hallway. Also, just a side note about how much more the first version of Cece's bedroom that we've seen seems so much more fitting for her and her style. This new color scheme honestly seems to match Rocky more, like if we were ever to have seen her room, as Rocky tends to wear some form of pinks, purples, and reds, colors typically stereotyped for being girlier, while Cece usually wears more of greens, yellows, and blues, so the green bedroom just makes more sense. Anyway, Flynn's bedroom would have to be in the same hallway, and then probably another bathroom shared between the two. Only other notable thing is the fire escape exit entrance that Rocky always uses to enter and exit the apartment.
This is the backdrop to Cece's apartment, and here's the fire escape that Rocky always comes down to.
Who's ready for a payday party?
This ladder here goes up to nowhere. That's Disney magic for you, just like my wardrobe changes.
And then this door here is the main exit entrance. And that's really it seems, for Cece's apartment. Next up on our probably most used locations would be John Hughes High School, again based on the actual Lincoln Park High School. Which, don't kill me, I guess the school in the show actually was named after John Hughes as a reference after the director of such classic movies such as The Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, and the Home Alone trilogy. He lived in Chicago, and so most of his movies were also set there, and in his last film, Drill Bit Taylor, Rashawn Fagan actually had a very tiny role, so that's pretty cool.
And editing Amelia here, I went and watched this whole movie looking for Rashawn somewhere in the background. And he might be an extra in one of these like high school scenes, I'm not sure. But I did not see him, so just putting that out there.
As for the inside of the school, for one-off episodes, we will see various classrooms. So basically this one set just being remodeled after whatever classroom it needs to be for the day. We'll see the cafeteria, auditorium, gym, principal's office, library. But as for the main set that is used in constant, it's just this one part of the hallway where the girls' lockers would be, and they'd sometimes have benches to sit on. I think later it would go on to be a bit more extended, but yeah, that's mostly it for this one. Next up, we have with probably the most next visits, the outside of Cece and Rocky's apartment complex, which, by the way, doesn't exactly do the best with matching up with the doorway we are given as the outside with the establishing shots of the building. Unless we're supposed to presume that on the other side of the building we aren't shown there's another doorway there, and then there's a small restaurant next door. Tito's that we never go in, but sometimes we'll see extras or characters going in and out of. Well, we wouldn't go into it yet. We'll cover that too as it happens. It doesn't make absolutely any sense when looking at the real photo of the building's locations, but I guess with the angle that the show gives us, they can kind of get away with it. And that's really it for this space. It's just a small outdoor space where the characters sometimes sit and chill on the steps, and usually there will be a small table to the side that people will sit, and maybe it'll be closer over by Tito's, like an outdoor place for customers to eat. And then the last of main locations is, of course, the set of Shake It Up Chicago. We don't get enough of an establishing shot for the outside of the building to be really able to tell me where it's supposed to be located. I'm just going to go ahead and guess it's supposed to be based on the design of the outside of the marquee for the Chicago Theater, or literally just any other old-timey theater building. There's even one in the smallest town where I live. Mostly here, all we really get for locations is the stage and some setups sometimes on the side. We are told in episode 8, Hook It Up, that the dancers get dressing rooms, but that ends up never being brought up again, and we never see where they're supposed to be.
Actually, hold that thought.
But sometimes see a wall of hooks with bags and other belongings hanging on them, and from time to time there'd be a makeup area set up to the side of the stage. And we know for sure that Gary has his own space in the back, but really the stage is all we'd see and these higher up viewing areas. Also where Marco is spinning the tracks. And really that's it so far for main locations. We'll be discussing at least one more, I guess another maybe in the next video, so we'll talk about those as they arrive. And that's it for this intermission. We will have another small one after we finish the whole of the season, and with that, let's get into episode 12. I hope this one actually has something to do with the dance show. I feel like it's been a little while. I'm not counting the last one, as even though Cece and Rocky did dance for the talent show, it wasn't because of their passion for dancing.